Alright friends, welcome back to the channel. So we are inside the back room. I'm trying to not talk too loud. Let me give you guys a little rundown of what's been happening. So we kind of built our coop in advance of getting our permit. We just got so excited and we wanted to get it done because that was the time that we had available. Well, fast forward to a few months ago, our neighbor, he's been complaining about the noise from the chickens. So I was like, okay, you know what? We need to go ahead and get this permit so that if he creates even more issues, at least we have that in our back pocket. So I went down to the place and it's actually like a little bit more involved than I thought it would be. So essentially you have to go ahead and get a building permit. So we knew how far the chicken coop could be built from our property line. So when we did the permit, it went through just fine. We knew we had the amount of space, but after that it goes to the health department and they're supposed to come out and just kind of check that things are going or built how it's supposed to be built. I'm actually not supposed to, like I said, have built it or even gotten the chickens as yet until the health department came out and inspected everything. Well, I went down there yesterday, and no, day before yesterday, and he was really kind, and he was just like, okay, do you have the coop? And I was like, yeah. He was like, do you have the chickens? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, okay. I showed him a few pictures of the coop and he was like, oh, I don't think I'm gonna have any issues when I come to inspect it, so on and so forth. The only thing is I just want to do a little bit of straightening up. I don't want it to seem the expectations of what a chicken coop would be like to be different from what it actually is, but I do want to get certain things swept up off the floor, certain things put back to where it's supposed to be. You know, when you're doing your day-to-day, you kind of get lax on putting things back. So I want to do that. I want to do a nesting box clean out, which I haven't done in a little bit, so I want to get that done. And then I think maybe tomorrow I'll give you guys a full kind of walkthrough of the chicken coop because we have not done that since we finished building the chicken coop. So the appointment is supposed to be in a couple of hours, so we're gonna get to that. So I'm going to be using a microfiber cloth to just wipe down the stuff because it has been a lot of dust. We did buy a solar powered vent to help with that, but for now I want to wipe it down. And then I also want to just change the nesting pads, just little things, and just a little refresh. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to take you inside to give you an overview and then we'll get to it. Here's what the shed coop is looking like currently. Let me turn up the light a bit. Here's Blue Ivy just being her loud self. So anyways, we have the mower here that I want to just move over there a bit, and then I'm going to sweep up all of this here. I'm going to lift this up and clean out just some of this poop droppings from right here. Get that folded up. Get this wiped down. That wiped down. And just changing our nesting pads. Penguina. Look at her, she's so calm. Unlike Blue Ivy. Blue. I think that's might be her favorite nesting box and she wants to get in. Go out and let Blue come in. You just laid your eggie. Go, go, go. Give Blue the box. So it's been a few hours, but I wanted to wait till after the inspection just because, you know, in case they said something that I needed to fix or things that they highlighted that was really important, I wanted to kind of pass on that information to you guys. So I'm going to turn the camera around and start off with the front. When it came to the front portion, they were really happy about the hardware cloth and the skirting along here. Specifically that it went a foot down and a foot over. They thought that was really important and was really impressed by us taking care of that part. They weren't happy about this right here. They were very opposed to having like any piles that any critters could hide in, which we are going to take all of this up and discard. So I did explain that to him and he was understanding. Now when we go inside, he asked me about how was I keeping the chickens warm in the winter. I explained that it was more about the wind chill than the cold itself and that we used those tarps to do that. They were happy about the, let me open back the door to get light. They were happy about the galvanized can here that held their food. And of course, when I was showing them inside this hen house, a poop falls out, but I'm gonna take care of that in a second. They also asked about the roost bars. They wanted to see that part. They said the requirement is just having the enclosure on 3 sides, and obviously because we have it on 4, it was much better. It was also great that the hen house was inside another layer of protection. So instead of this being outside and it being kind of in the shed, they were really happy about that as well. They didn't really check the nesting box, but I did go ahead and put in new ones, and before we would kind of like break them apart to put them in, but I found, hold on, let me just have the, oh, you gotta get a different system for this. But I found with the new bulky ones and just having it almost like folded into each other, almost like a taco, the rolling system worked a lot better. So when I picked up the last couple eggs, they were rolled under. This one I just have to fix a little bit, but it did help that system out. So I'm happy about that. Actually, let me just pick this one up. Another thing that they did mention was the fact that even though this is a chicken coop, it did not have a like strong odor or anything. Even when the poop fell, there was like nothing when we opened the doors or anything like that. So make sure that you're keeping up on your maintenance, and if you're especially using this straw not straw, but what's it called, pine shaving method, that whenever it like starts to pile up, you are getting rid of that excess waste. Now when it comes to the run space itself, they were making sure that we had a closed feeder water, that we weren't just throwing their food down. They didn't really care much about the oyster shell, or I forgot what that one's called. Didn't comment at all on their little structure or the little poops around, but they did mention earlier we had like a little bit of fly action here, so he was suggesting that we maybe put like a little sticky fly thing, you know, the one that hangs down on here. And then I had this portion here that I made for the chickens. I had it the door open and the chickens kind of coming out, so I think he wasn't entirely sure that when I do this if I'm out here or not. So he was like, you know, make sure you're out here. I kind of explained to him that it's only for when I can't fully pay attention to the chickens, because then they would eat all the stuff in my garden. So after that he was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But for the most part, they are pretty well behaved. They don't really pass that wheelbarrow right there. They love to dust bath right there, and they just pick at the things around. They did comment on our composting here. That's another area of worry. Like if you're composting, just make sure that you're putting just garden debris and leaves and such. You're not putting like anything sweet or cooked things that could attract rodents. So this was also something that he was pleased to see, that it wasn't attracting any rodents or pests. So overall, I would say that it was a really good inspection. We passed with flying colors. I was not nervous at all. I think the only thing I was nervous about, which he cleared up in the beginning, was that it was okay that I already built it and I already had the chickens. So that made me feel a little bit better, but I knew that everything else was pretty much covered, and we had made sure that all the little things were addressed before. All the little details were put into the coop, so that just for not even the inspection, just for our peace of mind, that we didn't have to worry about anything getting in there and eating our chickens. You guys know how long it takes for you to start getting eggs, so we did not want to run into any of that. So we are also just very careful and mindful, because we want a nice clean coop. So it was also nice to hear that, you know, we did a really good job. So that is going to be it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you guys so much for watching. The sun is kind of in my eyes right now, but I hope you're having a wonderful week. Continue to Irie yourself, and I will see you in the next one.